Despite Britain suffering from a housing shortage of more than 4 million homes and millions of Brits languishing for years on housing waiting lists, the Home Office has snapped up 16,000 properties to accommodate asylum seekers. Landlords have been offered 5 years guaranteed full rent in a bid to cut the £8 million a day cost of housing migrants in hotels. These properties, by the way, have been sourced from private and social housing markets and will be used to home 58,000 asylum seekers across England, Wales and Scotland. However, experts advising the Home Office have warned that local families, young workers, face being deprived of cheaper rented accommodation as a result. Lee joins me now. Thank you very much. Why are illegal migrants being prioritised over Brits in the UK?
Well, they shouldn't be, Patrick. Absolutely 100% not. And this is a result of a broken asylum system. We've seen over the past 2 or 3 years, the migrant crisis has got worse and worse and worse. And it frustrates the hell out of me. We've still got today, I've been watching the debate, the Rwanda debate in the House of Lords. We've got the Archbishop of Canterbury piping up every 5 minutes. You've got your Gary Linekers of this world saying that we're not a welcome, tolerant country and all this. Meanwhile, the migrants, the illegal migrants continue to cross the channel, continue to put a strain on our public services, continue to cost £7 or £8 million a day. And this is a consequence now of clearing the backlog. We're clearing the backlog now, so they've got to get out of the hotels. They've got to have somewhere to live. And look, Patrick, I've been pretty clear on this from day one. I'm of the mind that the illegal migrants should be sent back to France the same day. I've always said this. Unfortunately, Parliament doesn't agree with me.
I've got an interview coming up later on in the show with Robert Jenrick, former Immigration Minister. One of the many things that he talks about in this interview is about whether or not we should essentially blockade the channel. Yeah. Right. I mean, would you be in favour of that?
I would. I mean, like I said before, Patrick, I've been, and we should have some blockades in the channel. I think, it's as if, well, I know for a fact that once these dinghies get into the sea in France, just 1 foot of water, they're here, then they're pushed out and they're more or less ferried across. We need a proper deterrent. We need to let these people know that once they step in that water, they should be carted back onto the beaches of France. If we get that right, Patrick, they'll stop coming. They're not going to pay £5,000 to keep getting turf back, surely.
I'm going to read you a little statement here now from the CEO of the Refugee Council. Right? So it's Enver Solomon. They said, the government's gross mismanagement of the asylum system has led to immense human misery, with people left in limbo for years on end, in a huge backlog of cases resulting in billions being wasted on hotels and other accommodation. It would not be like this if the government focused on operating a fair, efficient and effective system instead of the Rwanda plan that will only lead to more cost and chaos. Your response?
What's his name?
Enver Solomon.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it's him that's causing chaos and misery throughout this country, Patrick. These do-gooders, these charities, these NGOs, these organisations are actively, in my opinion, encouraging these illegal migrants to come to this country and cheat our asylum system. It's them that's at fault here.
OK, all right. Well, look, there's obviously a couple of other stories that I want to get stuck into with you. The Home Office is also splashing cash on TikTok stars. I mean, I had to double-check to see whether or not this was true, but it's true. It turns out we've been doing it for years. They're splashing cash on TikTok stars to create videos that urge migrants not to come to Britain. Rappers, influencers, Albanians, they're going to be paid £5,000 for their effort. Nigel Farage poked fun at one of the ones last night, and this kid's doing a good job, bless him.
Give you on the count of 3 to get out. 1, 2, 3... Get out! You heard me. Get out. Get out.
Yeah, what to do if you find an asylum seeker in your fridge, that said. Is it a good use of taxpayers' cash, this, Lee?
Well, I'd like to see the Rwanda rap. That would be a good one, wouldn't it, Patrick? Look, I was a bit sceptical when I first learnt about this, but then I looked into it a little bit. And when you think that TikTok has been used, actually, to entice these young migrants across the channel, especially the Albanians. And I know we've been targeting Albania through Facebook. Probably nearly 1 million males, young males in Albania have been contacted through Facebook, the adverts on their walls, whatever. And we've seen the crossings from the Albanians drop by about 90%. So if the people smugglers are using TikTok and social media to advertise their wares, surely we've got to fight back a little bit. The jury's out for me, but I sit on the Home Affairs Select Committee. If it's not working, then I'll be asking certain people to come back and sit before us and explain their actions. Yeah,
I look forward to it. Is it Matthew Rycroft?
It's Rycroft and Ridley, that double act.
Right, yeah, well, the Chuckle Brothers is what I nicknamed them. And, Tim, nice but dim. But, of course, we shouldn't be going around saying those things about people. Lee, the Royal Navy continues to outwoke itself, this time by considering making climate change courses for soldiers mandatory. A leaked briefing paper suggests that all Navy personnel could be forced to attend online training sessions about the impact of climate change on defence. The paper adds that climate change threatens peace, could worsen gender equality. I mean, great, but that's the line in the sand, isn't it? And global poverty. And that globally rising sea levels could put damage on ports and maritime infrastructure. Your thoughts on that? It's a good
what a load of rubbish, Patrick, this is. I mean, I've said it before on this show. There is somebody, well, there's quite a few people in this country that lie awake at night thinking of silly things to say the following day. This is another silly thing. They need to concentrate on defending our borders rather than silly woke nonsense.
And why on earth are members of our armed forces being troubled by thoughts of rising sea levels? I mean, there was some question marks as to whether or not a couple of our ships could actually get out there.
Well, I would have thought, Patrick, that rising sea levels are good for boats. Surely. They can get about quicker, can't they?
They could. I mean, I suppose they'd have it unfilled. They could get across mainland Europe in a second, couldn't they?
Well, there you go, yeah.
Sucked into the ocean.
And maybe stop some of these migrants crossing the channel. Concentrate on the day job, not this silly wokery.
OK, well, a Royal Navy spokesman said this. The Royal Navy has a long history of conservation and sustainability, and as Marines, we appreciate the vital importance of the sea to our nation and as a source of life for the planet. That's why the integrated review in the Defence Command paper outlines how climate change presents challenges.
Patrick,
go on.
If they're saying this, then they've got far too much time on their hands, that's what I've got to say.
But the thing is that they really shouldn't be. I mean, there is a war in Europe now, and there may well be, coming conflict with China and Taiwan and all of this stuff, and we cannot simultaneously be told that we might have to get ready for conscription and also have a Royal Navy.
It's this left-wing wokery, Patrick, that's infected all parts of our society, our civil service, our police force, and our armed force as well. We've had this, festering for about 20 years now, creeping into all walks of society. It's very damaging, and that fills me with no confidence at all if senior naval officers are saying this nonsense.
All right, look, Lee, thank you very, very much, as ever, for your time.